Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today, Shiur should be Le'ilu Nishmas, our dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka Bas Gabriel Tzvi, and for Zaidi Reb Shmuel ben Yosef Dov HaKohen B'schus L'Refuah Shalema B'Karov Meshalom ben Sarachel Miriam Basara and Yair Yeshia ben Chaya Atara. Today, we are on page 279 in the Shaar Habitachon, for those who are following along. And today, we're starting on a new type of category of bitachon. Now, till now, we spoke about bitachon when it pertains to other people. We have multiple people involved in the discussions that we had. So whether it was a shtadlus, a job, whether it's looking at people for assistance, people looking at you for assistance, everything that we spoke about revolved around requiring interpersonal, meaning it needs a second person in order to get that thing done. Today we're going to talk about bitachon as it pertains to you yourself and your aveirahs and your mitzvahs, and how that works, and where and at what point do you need to trust in Hashem in the outcome of that mitzvah or aveirah, or in the trust of the action. We're going to see that in a minute. But it's going to be a little bit different because we don't have anyone else to look at as far as the outcome. So we can't say, oh, the outcome is up to me, up to him, up to your boss, up to the shaliach, whatever it is. Over here, we're looking at just you doing your thing as far as a mitzvah or an aveirah, and how that's going to work with your trust in Hashem. And now he's going to go through it like this. So, the fourth part of bitachon, and he says it's somewhat different than other parts, is binyane choyves behalvavas vehevarim. It involves a person's duties of the mind, those duties of the limbs, sha'adam misyache b'soyelasam v'nizkam, that affect the person alone for a benefit or loss. Meaning, if you do the mitzvah, you get schar, no one else does. If you do the aveirah, you get the aveirah, no one else does. And it doesn't affect anybody else in that regard. Now, v'zeb, and he gives some examples. This fourth part of bitachon includes when you have to fast, Yom Kippur, Tisha, all those different things, and your tefillah, and sitting in a sukkah, shaking the lulav, tzitzis, shmiras haShabbos, ma'adim, keeping Shabbos and Yantiv, vehimana min averos, and refraining from doing averos, v'chol chayvus halvavas, and all the duties of the mind, lo yisavarnu el zulasai, all these things have no direct effect on other people. V'sayelasam v'niskam yuchad boy, and their benefit and harm are for you and you alone. Without affecting anyone else. Meaning, if you keep Shabbos, that's nothing to do with me or anyone else. That's just to do with you. You keep Shabbos, great. You don't keep Shabbos, your problem. So, we're going to go through these things. How do you go about being a Baal Bitachon when it comes to doing these different things? Now, he says like this. Before he begins to help out this subject, Rabbeinu B'chaya, when he wrote Shaar Habitachon, the fourth chelik of Chovos Avavos, he says, he says, because it's such a complex, difficult topic to talk about, as he has said this many times throughout Chovos Avavos, here specifically he says, in a few other places as well, but here specifically he says, he did a tefillah for Hashem, that Hashem should give him the right words to be able to explain to people exactly what is the point he's trying to come across. And so to me, I say the same thing, that Hashem should help me bring that point across to you guys, that it's understood in the way that it is meant to be. Now, today we're just going to do an introduction to this, but we're going to talk about the main components of bechira, of free will, of choice. What are those components? So we're going to break it down, and there's three main sections to bechira. Now, the first section is called the Echad Ma'Bechira B'Libo Matzpuna. The first part of it, from the three, is you deciding to do something. So, we've said this a couple of times, and I like using this example. Bikur Cholim, right? You want to go visit sick people, say in a hospital, right? First, you have the mindset. So the first of the three categories is like, hey, you know what I want to do tomorrow? I want to go do the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim. That's the first part. The second part is, he says, V'hasheni hakavana v'haskama lases me'avet shabachabay. The second part is like the planning stage, the act of trying to go out and getting it done. And what does that mean? It says, okay, so I want to go do Bikur Cholim. Now, how am I going to go about that? That's a great idea. Not everybody even wants to go do mitzvahs like that. Not everybody has this idea of going to do bitachon. Some people have no interest. But you had the interest. Part 1, done, complete. Part 2 is you plan it. Say, okay, tomorrow is Thursday, and so my schedule is kind of free in the morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go daven early, and I'm going to get into the car, and hopefully by 10 a.m., I'll make it to the city, 34th Street, NYU Hospital, and I'll go visit people in the hospital. I'll do my mitzvah. That's what I want to do. That's the second part of it. The third part is the action phase. That is the part that you have to carry out. So you planned on it. You decided, right? Great mitzvah. I want to do it. I haven't done it in a while. Bitachon. Awesome. Second part, you planned it out. Okay, tomorrow I'm free. I clear my schedule. I'm going to go to the city. We're gonna make a trip out of it. Daven early. Get in the car. Buy breakfast. Coffee, out on the way to the city, go do bitachon. The third part is actually carrying it out. So it's great that you have the plan, and now you set out, you actually woke up early, you did your part, and you got out. But the first two parts are great, but if the third part is not carried out, it's just not done. So now let's see what could happen. So he says over here, those of these three steps that are not hidden from us, but are under our control, are only the first two steps. So what he's trying to say over here is that when you set out to do the mitzvah, what is your free will, your aveirah, your choice, and the components of free will, of choice, is the first two steps. You can decide you want to do bitachon. You could plan your day to go do bitachon, but you to actually be mekayim the mitzvah, to fulfill the mitzvah of bitachon, you cannot do unless Hashem wants you to do it. And therefore, we're going to get into this, that where it's right for you to have trust in Hashem in the mitzvah is only in the third category, which is in the outcome of that mitzvah, because the first one, you can't say, hey, I want to choose or think about it. That's your choice. And the second one is the actual planning. Okay, I want to plan out my day. And the third one is the action. We know, we've said this many times, an outcome is not possible unless Hashem wants that outcome to happen. So as much as you want to do a mitzvah, and it's a beautiful thing, the fact is Hashem can make sure that you don't make it to the city tomorrow to go fulfill that mitzvah. Maybe because he doesn't want that mitzvah to be fulfilled through you, or maybe he just doesn't want the individuals that you're going to visit to have an extra visitor today. Whatever that reason is, that's God's plan, that's his cheshbon, it has nothing to do with you. But at the end of the day, you need to trust, as a Baal Bitachon, you need to trust in Hashem that you can actually fulfill that mitzvah. And he goes further to say, the trust in Hashem is, you have to trust in Hashem in the outcome. Now, when it comes to the aveirah, you can't trust in Hashem in the outcome there either. You can't, because it's very, very simple. But there he brings a pasuk, and the pasuk it says over there, in the end of Devarim, it says, God, it says, I call heaven and earth today to be a witness against you. I've placed life and death before you. And then he says, right? And you shall choose life. What choosing life doesn't mean necessarily just choosing life, but it means to choose the right thing. So Hashem already commanded you to do the right thing. So you can't have trust in Hashem for you to do the right thing or to refrain from doing the aveirah. So by the mitzvah, the first two actions, that's your choice to pick that. Hashem already said, you go ahead, choose to do the right thing. Hashem wants you to do the right thing. And when it comes to the aveirah, Hashem says, choose the right thing, meaning don't think about going to do aveirah. Don't decide, hey, I'm going to rob someone. Hey, I'm going to plan, how am I going to plan to rob my neighbor? And then third is the action of robbing them, right? That's the flip side of the three choices when it comes to bechira on the aveirah side. I can plan, I can decide, hey, I need money. Great, I'm going to rob someone. What's the plan? I'm going to wake up early, 2 o'clock in the morning, and go break into my neighbor's house. I know he's on vacation. Third one is the action. You actually wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, go out, and you set out to go and do the action. But it says you can't have trust in Hashem that something is or isn't going to happen when your choice is to do the right thing. When Hashem says choose the right thing, you can't wake up and say, oh, I'm choosing to do an aveirah, and it's up to God whether or not it's going to happen. No, you had to, from the get-go, your bechira, your free will, your choice is to choose the right thing. So getting up to doing a mitzvah, yes, You should think about it, what kind of mitzvahs you want to do, plan on it, and then go and try to carry them out. And the point is, the third category, which is the action, the outcome of you fulfilling the mitzvah of, say, Bitachon, that is only up to Hashem. It's also like that by an aveirah as well. But you can't go ahead and start deciding and planning to do the aveirah to the get-go. By the mitzvah side, you should decide to go wake up and go do the mitzvah. But you have to trust in Hashem that for you to fulfill that mitzvah, that is going to be up to Hashem and Hashem only. And what we're going to start learning tomorrow, this is the introduction, is that by the mitzvah, when you have this machshava, you have this thought, hey, I think Bitachon is a great idea to do, and I want to do it. And then you say, okay, how am I going to do this? I'm planning, I'm going to get up early, go to the city, go do Bitachon. And then when you ultimately get up, go out, get onto the road, and you go to the city, and for whatever reason, you don't make it there. Maybe you hit traffic, maybe your car broke down. I don't know what happened. They didn't let you in the building. I have no clue. But whatever the reason is, you tried your best. You did your part. You earned the schar for doing that mitzvah. Why? Because you don't have power of an outcome. That's only up to Hashem. So whether Hashem wants me to be mekayim this mitzvah, that's his calculation. But I wanted to do it. I get schar for that because that's what I'm in control of. I'm in control of my free will. I wanted to do the mitzvah. Now, my car broke down, not my issue. That's God's issue. That's his reasoning, whatever his reasoning is why he didn't want it to happen. Right? I don't understand it. So at the end of the day, the three-part components, your free will is only in the first two parts. The trust that you have in the bechira portion is your part, but carrying it out, the action, the outcome, that is always and only up to Hashem. Thank you, everyone, for joining us all here today. And as always, I love you all.